All right, welcome back to the Mad Monks podcast. My name is Aaron.
My name is Chris.
And so today what is the title of today's podcast?
When Your Faith Wanes.
All right, and this may be an abbreviated podcast, not as long, because Chris has some plans for his morning with his family, which is important.
Oh, it is, yeah, it's very important.
So
but this is important too.
Yes, there's value in this as well.
Very, very important.
So what kind of got you started on this kind of conversation?
I'll be honest with you. I've struggled with mental health occasionally, and now not necessarily my entire life, but really after my dad and my brother died, those are the times when it really started to get heavy. And I don't know how many of you out there have had this problem, but you feel like there's no hope sometimes. Now I'm a Christian, so for me, I have all the hope in the world.
Right.
But there have been times in my life when I have felt like there is no hope, like things are never going to get better. I'm not going to be able to succeed.
Yeah.
I'm not going to reach the world for Christ. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start thinking in terms of not being able to do things, that becomes your outlook.
Yeah.
You start to make that a lot bigger than it should be. And what I have to remember is that I am a Christian. I'm a child of the Most High. And when you're his child, he created everything. If he created everything and made everything, you should have some of his wisdom.
Yeah.
And some of his understanding. So I think Christians should be a lot more forthright than they are, because we are a people who is set apart for his purposes, and we should be ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
We should be.
Yeah.
And we're not. And I think I know why.
Okay.
But that's what this discussion is kind of about, is how do you deal with things because I can tell you that in my life, like when I got this job where I'm at now, I did not think I would be able to get it. Everything in me doubted it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not smart enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. And I ended up winging it and was successful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the end, I think it's more about taking the step of faith rather than believing you can't do it or this or that.
Right. Well, there's so we've talked about this before with some of the false preachers and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a delicate line.
There is.
With not having the confidence, having the confidence, and then just believing it's going to happen.
Yeah. Because
there's a lot of, and we're kind of crossing back into false teacher territory.
Yep.
But there's a belief within the Word of Life movement and all those folks where, and Bethel, the Bethel School for Supernatural Studies, or whatever they call themselves, they're like, we say it's going to happen, so it's going to happen. And so there's this weird, I think in recent Christian years, I'd say in the last 10, 15 years, the idea in some circles is, well, if you pray for it and you believe it, it'll happen. And that's dangerous, because if you believe in that arrogance of self,
that's arrogance.
You're not willing to accept the fact that, well, God might say no, or this might not be what I'm supposed to do,
Which
this might be a piece of my future or piece of my path, but it's not the end, or it's not. This is not how it's going to happen. Yeah. So I want to be very careful in how I kind of talk about that, is because for you were like, I'm not going to get it. Like, there's no chance. I don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I'm just going to try it and go for it. And I think that's the posture that we have to adopt.
It is.
It's humbleness. We never want to sound like we have it all figured out, because we don't.
We definitely don't. No.
But we also don't want to be like, I'm afraid of everything and I don't want to do anything, because that's the cowardly way. That's the lack of faith.
That's the fearful way.
Yeah, it's the lack of faith and more fear that holds you back and becomes a part of your life. And so that's kind of the thing that I think you're kind of talking about here. We, as Christians, our faith is what we hold on to, and our faith is what we aspire to follow in everything that we do. Yep. And obviously we're broken, so we're not going to be perfect at it, but we're going to do everything we can to make that happen.
We try.
Right. So in this situation, because there's people out there who's like, oh, I'm going to manifest my future job. I'm going to manifest this. I'm going to manifest that. And like, you're not in charge of manifesting. You're in charge of praying, humbling, talking to God,
and working.
But in the end, God's going to be the one that's going to manifest by His will what your future's going to be.
Facts, yeah.
And you have to discern as much as possible if He's telling you or directing you, or the Holy Spirit's leading you. Like that's the whole game. And so I wanted to add that context in there, because when you talk about like having that faith, there's a deeper piece to that of you have to, it has to be practiced in everything that you do.
It does.
And that's the hard part, because practicing your faith in every part of your life, from professional to personal to everything, like it ain't easy.
It's hard.
It is. And I think for you, when you said like you went for this job, you didn't think you were going to get it. You didn't.
I thought I had no chance.
So I think there's that balance on the spectrum of faith, of like having no hope, no faith, and having too much faith and too much hope and too much belief that you're going to get it. Finding
or arrogance.
Or I would agree with that.
I think it's arrogance.
Yeah, I absolutely think it's arrogance.
Yeah.
I would almost call it like ignorance arrogance, or arrogant ignorance. There we go. Arrogant ignorance.
There we go. That sounds better.
It's you're and because ignorance is a willful thing.
It is.
There's a difference between ignorance and naivety. If you're naive, you just don't know. You're just like,
I have no idea.
But if you're ignorant, you're intentionally ignoring something and setting yourself up for that. So in your situation, and in my situation, a lot of times, like when I've gone for a job, it's that I have to tell myself that I am possible, and that there's a chance I'm going to get the job, but I don't want to be. I've worked at this to be like, it is what it is. Like I'm putting my faith in God. I'm putting my faith in my abilities and my talents and my interview. We're just going to go for it, and that's what we're going to do. And I can't. If I don't get the job, I go, okay, then it wasn't for me. Next in line. Versus if I get the job, I'm be like, you know what? This is where I'm supposed to be. Then God's got a hand in this.
Yep.
His will for me is to be in this position for how long I don't know, but I'm going to do my best at it.
Yep.
So that's
exactly right.
But here's the thing. I think, and we've talked about this on this podcast, we're older.
We're old people.
And our view of faith and how it's practiced, you go to a young person, quote unquote, like a 20-somethings.
Oh Lord.
And you ask them, and you kind of try and have this. I'm not sure that conversation is going to go the same as we're having.
It'll be way different.
Well, and I think there's a lot of like popular artists out there who are like, oh, this is on God. Like, thank my Lord, thank the Jesus, and then it's like, then they go and do something, and you're like, that's not your faith in action. That's your heart in action. That's your brain. Like, that's not the truth. So we talk, like we know what we're talking about, and going into the depths of the context is important.
Yeah, which we're going to go do.
Right. But I think it's also interesting that this is an I feel statement. I don't feel like a lot of our ideas are a part of, and I don't want to say mainstream, but a lot of the church world around young adults and youth right now. I don't know if these are conversations that they're having.
It's kind of New Age Christianity, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. I think there are. I mean, when we talk about this, obviously we can't be in every single church and every single part of it.
They're not all this,
right? They're not. There's this kind of swelling. I don't know how to say it, but like there's this feeling of like we've lost the plot within this context of this conversation as a big C church, like not like, oh, this specific church here in Fort Morgan, I know that they're doing it wrong. I don't know. But given the cultural kind of phenomenons that we're experiencing now, both cultural, spiritual, political, whatever you call it, it leads me to conclude that we've lost, as a big C church, we've lost something. Yeah. And I can't quantify it, but I can only qualify it. I mean, quantify, I can't count it. I can't measure it yet, but I can qualify that there's a shift.
There's something wrong.
And and we've talked about the false preachers. And so I think the interesting thing is, I think we're going to, as we continue this podcast, there's going to be more callbacks to the false teachers conversation.
Oh, there's going to be a lot
because
more.
I think there's elements of that false teaching conversation that are going to keep returning when we talk about some of this stuff, when we talk about faith and focusing our faith and stuff like that. So
absolute facts, man.
And I think that's what I would hope for. And again, I'm not plugged into a massive big church, in Colorado, like we used to go to mega churches back in the day when I lived in Denver. But we're out here in Fort Morgan. It's a small town. We have a good Methodist church with about 150 people in it.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good sized church for this area.
A lot of them I know too.
Yeah, you do. And so there's this whole idea of like what my perception is that what I see with our youth and young adults in Fort Morgan church wise versus what might be happening in metropolitan cities or metropolitan Denver or whatever.
I'm sure it's a lot different.
Yeah, and I'm hopeful that there are churches out there who are preaching the gospel, who are preaching Jesus, who are preaching God, who are preaching the Holy Spirit.
There are.
So anyway, there's your context for a little bit. I will now return the the wheel to Chris.
So if y'all don't like death and stuff like that, you may want to turn it off now, because I'm going to get pretty deep into this, because this podcast is not only to preach the gospel, it's therapy for me too.
Yeah.
Because I've had a lot of hurt in my life. I've had a lot of things happen that have hurt me deeply. Mm-hmm. And what we're about to talk about is one of those things. And so when my brother was 33 years old, April 2nd, 2015, he took his own life. And I'm not sure, he did a video. He had a YouTube channel. Excellent.
Yeah.
Like this boy, if he would have been a millionaire by now.
Yeah.
He had such great potential, and he had such talent and such an intelligent mind and brilliance, but he was stupid.
Yeah.
All at the same time. He was constantly self-destructive, and at that date he took his own life. My dad found him, and that hurt my dad deeply. It hurt me deeply, because I was there with my dad.
Yeah.
After the fact, and I can tell you the pain that I saw in my dad was horrible.
Yeah.
It was absolutely horrible, but I had the church pray over me before I went, and it actually, my dad said if it wasn't for me, he probably would have done himself in. So I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I'm going to be completely blunt. And so when he committed suicide, a friend of mine said that on Facebook, he messaged me and he said, did you hear that something bad happened on Pool Creek, which is where my dad lived?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, at your dad's house. I'm like, uh-oh.
Right.
So my brother was known to be violent from time to time, and I thought my brother had killed my dad.
Right.
That's what I thought had happened, but turns out it was my brother shot himself. And so I want those of you out there that struggle with mental health, it is about getting help, but you can't always rely on modern medicine to fix you.
Yeah.
I think you need a combination of both.
Right.
You need somebody to talk to about these things.
Right. So here's an interesting conversation. So there's two religions in recent years that have kind of come into the forefront of this conversation. So Scientology is one.
Yeah.
They reject psychology. They reject psychotherapy. They reject all of that. They have their own process by which they do
I'm
it.
sure they do.
It's absolute not helpful. It's not even.
That's a podcast right there.
Yeah, it's a whole episode. And there's been discussions. If you Google if you YouTube Leah Remini, Mike Rinder, all those guys, like they talk a lot about how Scientology basically works to try and convince you that you don't need any of these modern things.
A tier system and all that.
It's a whole thing. But so Val Kilmer recently passed away.
May he rest in peace.
Did you know that he was a member of they're not Scientologists, so the Church of Science?
Oh yeah,
you've heard about them, like you've seen the signs, like Science Reading Room or whatever. Yep. So the Church of Science they are interesting as well because they push back against modern medicine. So Val Kilmer, originally when he got his throat cancer diagnosis, he either didn't move as fast as he could have, or he kind of initially resisted it.
Yeah.
But then he eventually got treatment, and it gave him extra years of his life.
Yeah.
But there's a lot within churches, and specifically cults, but also there's some weird church connections with this.
Man, you're not kidding.
Where people are like, "Oh, don't go to therapy," or "Don't do this," or
I think you should.
don't get your vaccines," or "Don't do this," and all this stuff. And I'm like, look, here's the thing. Everything that we have today is God granted. Like all the science, all the vaccines, all this medicine. Like modern medicine is incredible. It is massively, incredibly awesome and complex.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, amen. So I think to your point, what you're talking about is you're like, you can't just rely. Like this is going to sound really heretical. Blasphemous is the word I was looking for, or heretical.
I know what you're going to say.
You can't fully just be like, okay, it's God and all. Like, I'm just going to believe God's going to heal me. We know that's not the case. Because we've watched the Benny Hinns, we've watched the Kenneth Copelands, we've watched all the false preachers say, well, if you just believe in God and you follow Him and you commit to Him and you donate to our cause, He will heal you. He will do these things for you.
God's not a money exchanger.
No, and He's not a Pez dispenser, and He's not like a magical little step in and get healed.
No,
like that's not how modern the Jesus and the Christ of today works.
Because He's the same now as He was yesterday. He never changes.
Exactly, and so it's not like you can ignore medicine. So with the Church of Science, Val Kilmer, there was interesting statements that he put out during the throat cancer situation. It's like, oh, I've been healed of the throat cancer after he got his treatment, and he said it was gone. But then I think it came back, and he recently hit the cause of death was pneumonia because he had contracted it, and that was the situation.
Yeah,
and so there's a lot of this whole idea that, well, all I need is God, and God will take care of me. Yes, absolutely. You should always draw close to God, be with God, walk with God, all those things. But it's in 2025, you can't God has given us the ability to have medicine, has given us the ability to have vaccines,
He gave us doctors.
Right. Penicillin exists because of a God-given talent and the God-given moment.
That's right.
Where it was created. So to your point, you should never try and do it alone in any way capacity.
No.
And you should never try and I don't need therapy. Everybody needs therapy. Everyone needs to talk about their stuff.
Oh, yeah. My wife is my therapist.
Yeah. And
I talk to her.
Same with my wife. We have conversations and we talk through stuff, and I'm there to help her, and she's there to help me. Yep. And it's a relationship that works because we're honest with each other and we talk about stuff, and we're real with each other. We're like, hey, well, I don't know about that. Let me think about that. So you're obviously going to continue here in a second, but to those listeners out there, Christianity, if you're a member of a church that tells you that you should not get your vaccines, that you should not be getting help, that you should only rely on God and God's the only healer and all this other stuff, it's a very dangerous rhetoric to be listening to, because it leads you to a path of isolation. It leads you to a path where you're no longer a part of a growing, fostering, healthy community. You're now a part of a community that is shunning the world.
Community of one.
What community of one, or the community of whatever your church is.
Yeah.
And you're now alone, and you don't have you've isolated yourself, and so now you're going to rely only on the church for what you need. And we shouldn't be living of the world, but we have to live in the world. And part of living in the world means we get access to therapy. We get access to medicines.
We got to go to the doctor, bro.
Antibiotics. We get access to life-saving surgeries. Yep. It's a soapbox of mine because I've seen, I have a friend on Facebook who I've known, we haven't talked in years in person, but she was a friend back in Denver.
Yeah.
And she recently announced, about a year ago or whatever, when she had her second baby, she's like, we're not going to do the vaccines. We're not vaccinating. And I was like, I thought you were, I thought more of you. And I think that's my struggle, is when I see people say that, oh, I'm not going to vaccinate my baby. We're going to do our own schedule. We're not going to follow this. We're not, or they'll just say outright, we're not vaccinating. And I'm like,
I didn't get them either. Never been sick. Not once.
Well, I think there's also,
I don't know how.
Well, there's something to be said for immune system and kind of
but
you're also 40 plus, how old are you again?
46.
46. So we're talking about infants now, in this day and age. There's a reason why there's a measles outbreak in Texas and other places, because people didn't vaccinate their children.
That's true. Yeah.
And now once destroyed and eliminated measles infection is back.
And it's probably mutated at this point.
Who knows? Yeah, anyway, so my point is this.
We don't know.
Get your vaccines, get your doctor's visits, see the doctor, get your health under control, because, yes, God is in control, but guess what? God is not like... We are stewards of our bodies, and we're stewards of this world.
Yeah.
Steward yourself.
You got to take care of yourself.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, continue. So you did, after that, within that experience, you made sure you did some therapy and stuff like that.
I did not.
Oh, you did not? Okay.
I did not. So here's the interesting part is my wife has been there for me the entire time. She never left me. And this is interesting because people will ask me, I talk about her constantly.
Yeah.
And people will say, well, why? Why do you love her so much?
Right.
Well, this stuff.
Yeah.
The things that she has forgiven me for, the way that she has stood by me.
Yeah.
Man, I am not worthy of her. I'm not.
Yeah.
But God gave her to me, so away we go. And she was my therapist.
Yeah.
She was there for me. She would talk to me.
Well, so okay. So to be clear, when I say you got therapy, I'm not saying like you went to a psychologist.
No,
or whatever,
no,
but
no.
you talked through this.
I talked through
with
it, yes.
somebody.
Yes,
honestly,
that I love and trust.
Right, and so that, like, to be clear, like, obviously, not everyone needs therapy, but you need to talk. You need to express yourself because those emotions need processing. We are emotional creatures. We have to get that out there and be able to speak about it, because if we don't,
it's going to spill. Well, because it's like a trash can. If you keep putting trash in it and you never empty it, it's going to spill out eventually.
And then you're going to have to pick it up and
then it becomes
drag it out the door and struggle with it to get it in the trash can, versus if you regularly done your trash dumping. That's an actually cool metaphor. I like that. If you keep your trash can low.
Keep it low, man.
Don't let your trash can. This is a really terrible metaphor now that I'm thinking about it.
That's pretty good.
Don't let your trash can of a life get full.
That's actually not bad. I like that.
Empty it out every so often.
That's true.
Make sure you regularly go and dump your trash.
That's right.
In the trash in the alley, so that the truck can come and take your trash away and you never see it again.
I like that. That's
somebody somewhere has probably written that. We're just discovering it as
we're discovering now.
As 40-somethings, we've discovered the answer to mental health. Use it as a trash can.
We're claiming it too.
Yeah, we're not. I don't want to get sued. All right, sorry. Continue.
And it was at that time after my dad died. He died December 2nd, 2021. And in January 17th of 2022, I started my new job.
Yep.
And I cannot begin to tell you how stressful that was.
Yeah.
Having to go to work knowing my dad wasn't there anymore, I'm telling you, that was, and doing it without somebody like him to talk to.
Yeah.
Because he was who I talked to about things like this.
Yeah.
And with him gone, you look to yourself and you think, well, now what do I do?
Yeah.
Like you feel lost. It feels like you're lost. That's really what it feels like. But at my wife being there for me, she helped me through all of this. And she's like, honey, you need to go find something else because I've never seen you stressed like this.
Yeah.
It was horrible in the beginning. Now?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot better than it used to be. And it took years, though. It took a lot of fixing. It took a lot of struggle, a lot of blood, sweat. And I'm telling you, there were some tears, too. But in the end, I think that God put me exactly where he needed me to be. Right. He humbled me the way that I needed to be humbled. Yeah. Exactly the way I needed to be humbled.
Well, I think to your kind of the conversation of this whole podcast is when your faith wanes. I think a lot of times, and this is very prevalent now with... And the generation labels, I hate them so much, but like the Gen Y and the Gen Alphas and whoever else they are,
know what those are.
Whatever. But they're all like the younger generation, the younger folks.
Yep.
They're what's being covered in news and YouTube and stuff like that is that they're not able to handle the challenge of a tough job.
Yeah.
That their impression was, oh, I just get a job and it's easy. And I think that prevailing thought is a recent issue.
It is.
Because when I my vision of it, so when I was a housekeeping manager at a local hospital down in Aurora,
oh Lord help me,
it was 5.5 years, and it was hell. It was absolute hell.
That sounds
I
bad.
shouldn't have stayed as long as I did.
Yeah.
Getting yelled at by my upper management on a daily basis,
Oh.
being treated like crap, being told I was I'm not, well, I don't think using this will get you an explicit rating on YouTube on your RSS feed, but I was told multiple times a week, and we were, as managers by our director, that we were piss poor managers.
Oh.
Repeatedly during the week, at least once or twice a week, we would hear that from her. You are piss poor managers. And that was just one of many.
That's bad.
So
man.
5.5 years of that.
It's a terrible manager, if you ask me.
She wasn't great. Watch out.
Holy crap! the whole thing moved.
And so there's two pieces here, right?
Yep.
There's your piece where your faith was waning in your job, and you just had to pick. You had to say, I'm going to go. I'm going to give this a try.
I'm going to move forward.
I'm going to move forward. I'm not
going
to sit in the moment. I'm not going to sit in this in my frustration or my whatever, because I know I want to do this job. And you're talented in IT. Like, that's where your knowledge is. That's where you know what you're doing.
Yep.
So you were right to continue to push through and to work through it. On my side of things, I shouldn't have stayed as long as I did.
Darn, that's crazy.
5.5 years of hell.
That's a long
and
time.
I think for you, because you found reward, there was at least a light at the end of the tunnel of like, if I can get this done, if I can work through this, I can really be good at my job.
I can make things better.
I can make things better.
Yeah.
There's a way for me to make a difference. In my job, there was none. We were a contract company. So the hospital had their employees. We were a contract company. So we were lower than dirt to them. And they treated us that way.
Yep.
It was like a known thing. Like, oh, they're not real employees. We can go report you to this guy, and he'll yell at you, and you'll get in trouble, and you might lose your contract. The contract was always over our heads. No matter what or how hard we worked, or no matter how good stuff we did, it was always like they were looking to try to get us to lose the contract. So I spent that 5.5 years. I mean, I came out of it. I went to counseling, and it was through Denver Seminary, where they had like graduate students who were doing the counseling.
Yep.
And so they're supervised and all this stuff. But my counselor was like, I can't actually diagnose you because that's not what I do.
Yeah.
But between me and my supervising person, like we would probably diagnose you with either a mild to significant case of PTSD from this job.
Holy crap.
And I was like,
that's bad.
Okay. Well, this is the same job that at one point, about halfway through that 5 years, I had a panic attack.
Oh, I had a few of those.
Yeah. And I had never known what a panic attack was until that moment.
They suck.
They
man.
are awful. I thought
I
I was having a heart attack.
Yeah, it feels like it,
and so I had to go to the ER in our building, and they're like, "No, you're not having a heart attack. You're just having a panic attack." And I was like, "Oh,
I need to go."
Right. And at that moment, that should have been the moment where I went,
"I'm done.
I need to get out of here."
Yeah, I'm done.
But at that point, I didn't have a degree. Because I had not gone. When I went to school after high school, I dropped out, took a year off, and then never came back. And so I was in a situation where I didn't have faith in myself.
Yep.
I didn't have faith that I could go back to school, or I could find a job that would be better than this. Because without that degree, I ended up having to work customer service jobs all my life.
You did,
and those are not fun jobs. They're jobs. Don't get me wrong. But they're not fun.
They're not. No, they're not extravagant or elegant.
Yeah, and they're not. You have to be a certain kind of person to work in that environment as a contracted employee.
You do.
With everything that's going on, and it wasn't me. I couldn't do it, so I eventually left it after 5.5 years, and that's where my faith in what I needed to do. I went to school to become a teacher, and that's where I came into your side of like, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can it's a long 4 years. It's a lot of work, but I can get there.
You love it enough to where
I love it enough. And I also, I think it was a God, it was a God directed, like his will for my life. I was to be a teacher. Right. And so when you recognize, you go, I think this is what God wants me to do. That makes it not easier, but it makes you stronger.
It does.
And you're able to go, okay, well, this is what I feel like God wants me to do. That additional backup is like, okay, now I can do this. My faith is stronger.
Yep.
But there are moments where you're just like,
you're like,
am I really supposed to be doing this?
I don't even know, man.
Yeah. But then you have to convince yourself, yeah, no, God wants me here. This is a God thing. I need to move. I need to keep going.
And it was the way I got the job. I made the manager cry.
Oh.
And that happened to me a few times.
Yeah.
When I started talking about my dad, and dude, you could see he was like tearing up and junk, and it was like, and I thought to myself, at least if I leave here, and I don't get the job, I'll have impacted somebody.
Yeah.
But then later, I think it was maybe 2 hours after that, I got a call from my now manager, and he said, "Chris, the job is yours."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You're lying."
Right.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
He said, "No, seriously, you got the job."
Yeah.
And so I almost doubled my pay, and now I'm up. I'm close to six figures now.
Woo!
It won't be long. Well, it'll probably be another few years, but at least every year I'm getting a raise.
Yeah.
A good raise.
Mm-hmm.
2.5%, 3.5% every year. So that's good.
That's positive.
So I don't, I credit God for all of this, because through this job, He has made me way, way more resilient.
Yeah.
Way stronger. He has changed my outlook on jobs and family and the difference between the two.
Yeah.
He has shown me that when you do something, there's a verse that says, "Do all things as unto the Lord."
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason it's said that way.
Yeah.
Because when you do things, everything you do is for Him.
Yeah.
That you shine like a light in the darkness.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I love Jesus so much, man. There are no words.
Yeah.
That's about all I can say. So I and even with all of the loss I've had, with all the friends I've lost, there's a day coming when I'm going to get to see them again.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Well, the ones that are His anyway.
Right.
And I cannot wait. So I wanted to give everybody a verse.
Yep.
Malachi 3:6 says this: "I, the Lord, do not change. So you, the descendants of Jacob, are not destroyed." The descendants of Jacob, I believe they were scared because they were afraid they were going to get destroyed when they forgot who God really was.
Yeah.
You know what? If there is no weapon formed against you that will prosper.
Yeah.
If you're one of His children, it will not prosper.
Yeah.
You have to believe that. You have to understand that He is the source of all your strength.
Yeah.
And that there's nothing in this world that can fix those things.
So, interesting kind of thing. When you were talking about it earlier, I want to circle back with that statement where no weapons will fashion against you will prosper.
Yeah.
You talked about how it was hard work at the job.
Oh, so hard.
So
My God.
I think what some people will do is they'll
So
use that statement of like no weapon fashioned against you will prosper. They use that as like, well, why is it not? Why are these weapons prospering? Why is it hard? Why is it tough? And the answer for me is it's not an issue. The key there is the weapons aren't going to prosper. That doesn't mean they don't go away. It doesn't mean that they're just going to vanish like Thanos.
They don't get easier.
They don't get Thanos snapped out of existence.
No, they don't.
Those weapons still exist.
They do.
But they're not going to prosper.
Yep.
They're not going to win.
You're still going to have to fight.
The battle still's going to have to happen.
Yep.
But the weapons will not prosper. They will not destroy you. They will not succeed.
Yep.
But they're not going to disappear. It doesn't say, "Oh, the weapons will vanish into the thin air." Like, no, the weapons just won't prosper.
That's right.
So people use that in a lot of verses in the Bible where it's like, "Oh, well, God just Thanos snaps it." No, that's not how God works.
Oh,
God works
through
you,
through it, yeah,
through what you experience and through that struggle.
I'm so glad He does that.
But I think that's the thing that a lot of I feel statement is important here, that I feel like a lot of modern Christians in this day and age don't understand is that life is hard. Life is suffering. Life is not easy. It's a broken world. It's a messed up world, and we're stewarding it and doing our best to make a difference. But it's not going to be an easy path.
No, it's not.
But this is gonna sound like a song. Actually, I think it's like I don't know who sings it, but they're like beauty is in the pain or whatever. Beauty in the pain. There is beauty in the pain. There is beauty in that struggle, because
that is the beauty.
Because that you are bringing how you go through it and how you get through it. That's what brings God the glory. Is if you get through it and you consistently remain humble, you remain courageous,
Facts.
you remain faithful, you remain like if someone asks you, "Hey, you're going through a tough time. How's that going? And you go, you know what? It sucks. I'm working through it, but I got God, and God's got my back, and I'm rolling, and we're working, and I'm fighting against it, and God's, in the end, me and God are kind of come out on the other side of this, and it's going to be what it needs to be, and it's going to glorify Him. And if that was how we talked, not just talked, but also lived that, the difference, I think, in what we would see in the world if Christians as a whole really picked up that game,
and did our job,
and it is our job. Like,
it is our job.
We have a job. Like, it is not. We are not little gods. Like, we are not little. Like,
no, we're not.
That's not how this works.
Stop it, people.
We are in service to our God. We are servants of Christ.
We are.
It is not like, oh, we're co-managers of the God shop. No, you are an employee.
Well, Paul said, if you listen to what the angels said, the angels said, "Don't bow to me. I'm a fellow servant." Even the angels. Our servant.
After they got done saying, "Do not be afraid," and everyone stopped screaming.
And petrified with fear,
because the angels were just terrified.
They were,
But that's right. It's like, no, there's only one. It's the same idea like in Lord of the Rings, with the king. You bow to the king alone. Like, that's the only guy. And even like the hobbits that you bow to no one, whatever. That's the whole thing. But the idea of like, God's the sole king.
He's the king.
He's the king, baby. And we're not in the business of worshiping other pieces of parts of the puzzle. But it was hard. It was rough. It was tough. It sucked.
It was really hard.
But the beauty in that is that God got you through it.
Boy, hallelujah, did He ever.
Continues to get you through it, both personal, professional, and spiritual. And I think that's the piece where you talk about the faith, the waning faith is when your faith is the lowest, the fastest way back is straight to Jesus.
You're absolutely. And for me, the next part of this is how He got me back.
Okay.
So the next part of and I didn't actually put this in here.
That's okay.
But if you would have looked at my state of mind after all of these things, you would have saw a man that was extraordinarily broken.
Yeah.
But there was a guy, right? I was in a place where I didn't want nothing to do with Jesus at that time.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm done with you. I'm afraid you turn your back on me. And there was a guy, a friend of mine in California. He's an IT director. Shout out to my boy Damien.
Woo-woo.
I hope he sees this, or listens to it. And he told me about a friend of his, and I'm going to say his name, Chris Rocha, who was in a coma.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't know why.
Yeah.
God said, pray for him now.
Yeah.
I said, but I don't want to pray to you.
Right.
I'm tired of that junk.
Yeah.
And he said, pray for him. And I said, okay, Lord, forgive me for what I've said.
Yeah.
For the things I've done. And oh my goodness, Chris Rocha is no longer in a coma.
Woo.
And he came out of that coma. I prayed for 1 month straight for him.
Yeah.
I still pray for him.
Yeah.
That God would strengthen him. And after he was brought out of the coma, God brought me so much closer to himself through that.
Yeah.
And when he was asked, I told Damien, I said, tell him that I was praying for him.
Yeah.
And Chris's reaction was, these are Damien's words, not mine.
Yeah.
He was wondering why someone from across the country would pray for him. He's like, he don't know me.
Yeah.
So I said, God, plant that seed in him.
Yeah.
And then have somebody else water it.
Yeah.
We're seed planters.
Yeah.
Some are water, some are seed planters.
Yeah.
And not only in our job, but in our faith and our work, we are seed planters. Mm-hmm. And if we will allow God to plant the seeds, he will.
Yeah.
And I found that with I don't know why this, like, I was praying profusely for this man.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
That's never happened before.
Yeah.
But so what I ended up doing right after my dad died, I distanced myself from everybody. I mean, I believe at that time I was a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I'm not going to be a hypocrite.
Yeah.
I'm either going to do it or not do it. I'm not going to be fake. And so I left the church, And this is back in like 2021, 2022, right around that time. And oh man, I was so broken.
Yeah.
And it took a long time, years,
Mm-hmm.
for me to get to where I am now. And I give God all the glory because I didn't do this myself.
Yeah.
I can't pull myself out of a ditch.
Yeah.
That it's like if you get a truck stuck in the ditch,
Yeah.
it's stuck in the ditch.
Yeah.
You need somebody to come rescue you.
Yeah.
And that's how I was. I was a broken man and a mess. I still am, but at least I'm saved.
Well, I think to your point of like when your faith wanes, the one thing you should never do is silo yourself away from people.
No, don't do that.
The first thing you should do if you feel like your faith
Run.
is struggling is get to a church.
Run to them, man.
Go to a service on a Sunday morning. Find a church that has a meeting maybe during the week or has a pastor on call. Because the one thing that strengthens your faith is others.
Yeah.
It's the iron sharpens irons idea.
Yep.
It's where two or more are gathered in my name, I am there.
Yeah.
Like there is power in community.
There is.
Within the church, and specifically because we just got done talking about Scientology and that community that tends to be a little more toxic than.
We're not talking about that.
No, that because that community is self-serving. It's a money pit that you just pay money to for nothing.
Yep.
But a church is a Christian church, a functional and alive Christian church is where you can walk in the door, and you know that you're going to be met where you are.
Yeah.
And if you're part of a church community and you go and you be a part of that, you can ask for help. You can get it. People will talk to you. Like there is a sense of belonging.
Yep.
That exists within a Christian church that I think is important, but it's also a sense of like, if I called on them, they would help. They would sit down with me and go, what's going on?
Yeah. We're supposed to love each other.
Yeah, and that's a big part of when you read about the first century church. Yeah, the first century church was operating on all cylinders. Now there were letters that had to be sent to be like, stop doing that, you bad church. Like there was a reason why the Corinthians, Ephesians, all these letters to these churches exist, because the churches had to be reminded of what they needed to be doing.
Exactly.
But that's any church, any human. Like you have to be constantly like, hey, what are you doing? Get back on the path.
God has to do that to us.
Yeah, and so I think when your faith is waning, the biggest mistake you can make, which again, it's human instinct, is to retreat, is to pull within yourself.
I think it is, yeah.
But I think you have to fight that, because you talk about your brother, his suicide. I've had people in my extended family life who have done that, who have committed suicide.
It's horrible.
One of my best friends from college, who I meet with every other week, opposite this podcast, she had a boyfriend that she's been going out with for a couple of years, and he had a habit, like every 6-7 months or whatever, he would attempt suicide, end up in a facility, and then come back and be like, oh, I'm sorry, and he would break up with her, and then they get back together. And so it happened once and it was okay, and it happened a second time, and then it was okay for a little bit longer, and then suddenly, guess what he did? He tried to commit suicide, ended up in a facility, and broke up with her. And so that's that whole like, okay, there's abuse happening here. It's you clearly have issues with yourself and your self-worth. And this is now the third time you've tried to commit suicide.
Oh yeah.
It almost becomes less of, okay, what's going on, versus, is this a performance? Is this just what you do every 6 months, 7 months? And that's where it becomes no long. There's still questions about mental health and, oh my gosh, what do you need? But it also is like, this is abusive. I am
toward her.
Yeah, and it's emotionally abusive. It is mentally abusive.
I would agree.
And it is all of those things. And so she blocked him on all the socials now. Like there is nothing. He's not getting through. But
he sounds selfish.
And we've had that conversation a little bit.
But he needs help too.
He needs help, but she's not like.
It's not her.
There's the idea of like, hey, your significant other can be therapy,
no.
But for her, there's no way she can. She is out of her league with that.
Yeah,
he needs professional, intensive help.
Yep,
because this is not a one-off. This is, you did it 3 times in 2 years.
And see, my brother, he was like that.
Yeah.
He would threaten suicide, and then one day he did it.
Yeah.
And it makes me now. My nephew. That's the other piece I want to speak on is my nephew.
Yeah.
I'm getting completely off the script.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'm going way off the.
It's fine.
My nephew is the one. I don't stay in communication with him very much.
Yeah.
He is a lot like his dad.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, Cyrus. I love you, bro. I do. Don't take this the wrong way, but I'm gonna just say it.
Yeah.
He is self-destructive like my brother was.
Yeah.
And I want to help him to get better because what happened to him is not fair. His mother has MS.
Yeah.
And his dad's dead.
Yeah.
Think about what that would do to a 9-10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
But the environment that he's been in, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but
that's fair.
The environment he's been in was horrible for him.
Right.
Now, I often wonder what would have happened. My brother asked me before he shot himself, can I come live with you? And my response was, would you quit drinking?
Yeah.
Because I loved him when he was normal.
Right. When he was sober.
When he was sober.
Yeah.
When he was drinking, he was a horrible human being.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was like a light switch, man. He was a different person. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't have a responsibility to love him.
Yeah.
But I am saying that he had a responsibility to not be stupid.
Yeah.
To keep doing the things that hurt him.
Yeah.
And so I ended up saying to him, if you quit drinking, you can come live with me in Colorado.
Yeah.
But if not, you can stay in Georgia where you're at.
Yeah.
And our last conversation was horrible. It was bad.
Yeah.
He called me and he was drunk. Oh, he was so drunk.
Yeah.
And he started cursing me and some words were said. I didn't curse because I don't curse.
Right.
But I told him, I said, look, if this is the way you're going to talk to me, then don't ever call me again.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
Yeah.
And so my advice to all of you is we have to remain loving toward people, even no matter how bad they are to us.
Yeah.
Our job is to remain soft.
Yeah.
God remains soft toward us.
Yeah.
We have to remain soft toward them.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that you should allow people to take advantage of you.
Right. Boundaries are huge.
Boundaries are huge. Yes.
Well, in this situation, so in there are dynamics within my family and a certain side of my family that is rough, and is very. There are a lot of issues that have happened. And dynamics that I won't speak to because obviously I'm not going to talk about it.
It's none of our business.
Well, I mean, it is, but it isn't. But it speaks to the boundaries issues that my family we have had to make sure that there are set boundaries with certain individuals and certain groups because we can't allow that spirit or that all that stuff to have purchase in our lives and our world. And so for you with your brother, it's this hard thing because you want to have boundaries. Nobody deserves to be treated like that and to be cursed out like that and to have to endure drunken phone calls to the extent where you're just like,
he stole my grill too.
Oh geez.
That's a whole nother story.
Right. But it's like because you can't feel like you could have done anything different in that situation.
I couldn't have.
Because you're talking about a grown man.
Yeah.
A grown man who is
stubborn grown man.
And who's making decisions that may not be the best, but this is not a 16-year-old child. This is a man who is grown.
He was in his 30s.
And we there's only so much we can do. You could call 911, do a welfare check. They could put him on a 72-hour hold if he threatens to kill himself. There's certain particular things you can do, but there's only so much you can do where you have to almost turn it over to God and be like, look, I can only do so much. I can only carry so much of this.
Yep.
And that's the part that sucks in those moments.
It does suck.
Because you're like, I want the best for this person, but
they won't listen.
They won't listen, or they're not ready to listen, or they don't want to like that whole. So you can only do so much. So I hope, and I ask you this question, you can feel free to not answer it if you don't want to.
I'll answer.
But yes, I realized that after I said that
I'll answer.
You'll answer anything.
Yep.
I hope that you don't feel any guilt associated with your brother's death.
No, I don't, because he had a choice.
Yeah.
And I told him about Jesus thousands upon thousands.
Yeah.
He saw Christ in my life.
Yeah.
He had no excuse.
Yeah.
He knew what life could be like.
Yeah.
He saw how happy I was all the time. He saw how good things were for me, how I was loving and how my parents were loving to me.
Yeah.
And how I got along with everybody. He saw those examples of faith in my life.
Yeah.
So for him to say that because I asked him one time, I said, are you ready to accept Jesus now? And he said, I don't want nothing to do with you or Jesus.
Oof.
And I said, remember these words, bro, because I said, you brought this on yourself.
Yeah.
You chose.
Yeah.
And that's the other interesting part is that a lot of people will say that God sends people to hell. He does not.
Yeah.
He's just giving you what you wanted.
Yeah.
Like when somebody, now I want people to listen carefully because this is important. If you choose your entire life to turn your back on him, the end result is he will not be there.
Yeah.
Hell is utter darkness.
Yeah.
Outer darkness, it says. What does outer darkness mean?
Yeah.
Well, it means that you will not be in the light.
Yeah.
Jesus is the light of the world. So think about that.
Yeah.
A complete and total absence of God in your life.
Right.
Torment forever. That's terrible.
Yeah.
But that's what people choose. So the another thing I wanted to really touch on was sometimes God will remove things out of your life to make it better.
Yeah.
That has happened to me extensively.
Yeah.
There were, we used to have every streaming service you could think of.
Yeah.
And then one day God said, hey, turn it off.
Yeah.
Said, I want you to learn. I want you to study. So I study his word now.
Mm-hmm.
I play SnowRunner. Sorry, forgive me, Jesus. I love that game.
You're allowed to, balance is important.
Balance is
moderation is key.
Yes, it is.
You got to balance it out.
But I think that a lot of people think that Christians are stiff, and the Christian life is an incredible. I cannot even describe how good it can be.
Yeah,
it is one of the most interesting, hard, rewarding, challenging things I've ever done.
Yeah, but
in the end, God does things to make you stronger.
Yeah.
To make you more like the image of his son.
Yeah.
That we are not little gods.
Yeah.
Hear me when I say that.
No, we are not.
We are not. We are no longer, we are nothing like Jesus.
Yeah.
We are supposed to try to conform to the image of the son. And by that we do things that he did. But I think that when your faith is waning, everybody, you need to look to him. And I can honestly tell you that the place where I found the most freedom is when I did this. This is John 1:9.
Yep.
But if we confess our sins to him, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all wickedness. In that moment when I was praying for Chris Rocha, I found myself confessing the sins that I'd committed.
Yeah.
I found myself saying, God, look, I am not worthy to even be talking to you. Mm-hmm. But because Jesus rent the veil, I'm going to talk to you. I need to. Yeah. And I said, look, I'm bearing everything here for you. He set me free from several things through that. I'm not going to go into detail because that's none of nobody's business, but I can tell you that there is freedom found when you confess your sins to him. And when you genuinely regret the things you've done. And so I just I want everybody out there to know, man, he loves you so much.
Yeah.
Now this ain't no Jim Baker thing.
Yeah.
We ain't going there, but I want y'all to know that he truly does love you. He really does. And he wants you in his kingdom. And so when your faith is waning, confess your sins and trust him. That's what you do.
Well, and I think there's the part of that it is, and you have it down here with James 4:7.
Oh, yeah, resist the devil. Yeah.
Well, and I think the first part of that verse is also important. So humble yourselves before God.
That's facts, yeah.
There's a lot of conversation in the Bible about humbling and being humble and living a humble life.
He gives grace to the humble.
He gives great. Well, and it taught one of the verses that, or I think it's either it's a story or a parable, but it's the parable of the one with the least talents, those who give in silence, those who practice their faith but are not, parading themselves
here
around.
I am.
Here I am. Look at me.
Yeah.
There's the idea of being so humble about it that people notice that. They notice that over the extravagance.
Yeah, they do.
And I think we see this in like recent like news stories when there's a story about a good Samaritan and they do something, and they don't identify themselves, and the news stations are like, can anyone please tell us who this is, because we want to thank them. And when they eventually either find them out and they discover who they are, the people are like, I don't think I'm a hero. I just did what needed to be done.
Yep,
like
facts.
I didn't really want to be known. Like this is just what you do. And so I think, in defense of all the criticism that I've levied at the Big C Church on this podcast today, I think on the other side of it, there are plenty of churches and Christians who are actively, humbly participating and engaging in their faith that we don't know about or we don't hear about because they're not making the headlines. And so I think
those
that's
are the best ones, man.
I think that's the thing, is we have to remember that there are churches out there, many, many, many churches, numerous, extensive numbers probably, that are doing God's work.
They are
doing the work of the Father, but they're doing it in a way that's, they don't put out a press release, they don't put out signs, they just do it. And I think we have to remember that if our faith is waning for various reasons, but if we feel like a hypocrite, or we feel like, oh, that church is doing so much more, that person's doing so much better than me as a Christian, it's like, first of all, God tells us not to compare. It's not the gig.
You don't know them,
right? You don't know them. You don't know what their story is.
Nope.
But it's also like, live your faith for Him, not for you. Live it according to what He asks of you and what He wants you to do. And I think that's the key, is that waning. If your faith is waning, if you're struggling, first of all, get yourself to a church. This is a terrible metaphor, terrible comparison I'm about to make. But we went to a Sister Hazel concert last week. I love Sister Hazel. Their music saved me in junior high school, senior high. It saved me in my young adulthood. I listen to their music at least several times a week because it's just so good. But it's a duo. They're two guys.
Yep, they are.
One of the guys,
they're good too.
They're incredible, and their voices were just as good as they were 30 years ago. But one of them talked about how he is living a life of sobriety.
Yeah.
And he wasn't parading it, but the point he made is, he says, I'm living that sober life. It's important to me. He said, I made a meeting at 11 o'clock this morning. I went to a meeting at 11 this morning because I needed to. And my point, again, it's not a good metaphor because we're talking about Alcoholics Anonymous and comparing it to church, but he has an issue.
It's freedom.
He is an addict. He's addicted to alcohol.
Yeah.
He recognizes when he is struggling that he needs to go to a meeting.
Facts.
The same is true of us.
Yeah.
We as humans as Christians, we need to make the meetings.
We do.
That means Sunday morning, if it's Wednesday night service,
doesn't matter.
Whatever service it is, make your meeting. And that's I think part of what your struggle with your brother is like, look, it's there for you. Get to it. Go seek the help you need.
Yeah.
Get yourself right. You know what you need to do in your heart, but you refuse. Your stubbornness, your arrogance, whatever you want to call it, is preventing you from accepting that you are not all that. That you need to humble yourself before God and say, not by me, but by you. That's how this works.
That's right.
And that's the same thing with Alcoholics Anonymous. You admit that you need help, that you are out of control, that you need someone, that you need help, that you need people to hold you accountable. It's the same thing in a Christian church, in a Christian service. You're going to praise God, you're going to offer prayer, you're going to ask for prayer, and you're going to get regularly helped through the message. Here's what you need to do in your life.
Fact.
Here's how you strengthen that waning faith by hearing the verses. Like, again, why we insert verses in this podcast, because we want to be strong in the word. And as a Christian, you have to be making sure you make those meetings. Oh, I don't like to, I do an online church. Okay, cool. You're making a meeting. That's fine. But you got to make the meeting.
You got to make it some way or another.
And again, it's not a solid metaphor to compare the church to AA and the meetings, but the concept is there.
The concept's there. Yeah,
you need help. You're struggling. Get to a meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say, like, we're addicted to sin. We're addicted to being arrogant. We're addicted.
We are.
So how do you fix that? How do you address that? You go to a meeting.
You do something.
You sit down. And you go, I've been arrogant this week. I've been doing this and that. It's been this many days. Like, I need help. You go to a meeting. And I know that, again, that metaphor is not the strongest, but it
makes sense.
It makes sense in my brain, and that's what matters.
Me too. It makes sense in mine too. Surrender's the other piece.
Yep.
I had to surrender the things that I wanted to do to him and say, look, Lord, now I'm going to be very clear about this. I love IT.
Yep.
There are no words to describe how much I love it. I do. I love it a lot. And even through all of this, God has helped me to get better and better and better at it.
Yeah.
And I remember when I pray every day. I pray twice a day. Yep. Once with my boys and once by myself in the morning.
Yep.
So when I wake up, that's the first thing I do. I pray. I read my Bible, then I go get breakfast.
Yeah.
Then I go downstairs and I study.
Yep.
For about an hour, depending if I can get up at 5 a.m.
Right.
Which I try. And what I learned was over the past week, every morning I wanted to try something.
Yeah.
So I woke up every morning. I said, Lord, help me to learn Linux. Now, this may seem stupid to some people.
Right.
But for me, it's very profound. And I would say, hey, I want to learn Linux, Lord. I want to get better at it.
Yeah.
And I woke up, and within 2 days, I was able to go into config files and modify things.
Woo!
And that, if you think about that, that's a profound amount of progress.
Yeah.
And so I want my work to mean something.
Yeah.
I want it to bring glory to God. That's what I really, truly want.
Yeah.
My life. I want my life to bring, so that the day that I die, everybody will look at me and say, and see the Father. That's what I want. Without question, that is my goal.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to do that, because I'm like a little child banging into all the walls.
Yeah.
He's got like, okay, come here, Chris.
Right.
Give me a hand. Let's go.
Yeah.
Even at 46, man, I'm still like a little child banging into the walls. But I think his grace and mercy, that's what they're for.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that we are weak. He knows that we're stupid sometimes, that we do things that are not correct.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that. He knows how bad we are.
Yeah.
But that's what he's there for.
Yeah.
We need him.
Mm-hmm.
That's our reliance upon him comes through that.
Yeah.
And so if your faith is waning, rely solely on him. Yeah. Take all of the things that you want and throw them to the side. Now, if there's something that you believe he is calling you to do, then do it with everything you got.
Yeah.
Because you're doing it for him, not for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my advice.
Okay. You had a verse down here from Romans.
All right, let me go look at it here.
Looks like Romans 5:8.
Let me find it.
It's under surrender.
Where? Oh, there it is. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, there you go. So, Romans 5:8, but God demonstrates his own love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. No matter how broken you are or how hurt you are, there is a river of life that flows from heaven. And Jesus came to make you whole. You do not have to suffer the hurt of the hurt of the past. Surrender your life to him and see what he does. James 4:7 is a good example of this. I think that was the one from above. Philippians 2:5-8, who being in very nature God did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness, and being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. We too must take up the role of a servant to serve others. For me, it is my family and friends.
Yep.
And that's what I can honestly say is that I've learned being a dad and a husband. Mm-hmm. Our job is to serve our family.
Yeah.
I used to think it was different.
Yeah.
Oh, let's make love to my wife every night. That's my job.
Right.
Let's do that. Give my kids whatever they want. That is not our job.
No.
Absolutely not. That is a horrible way to see it.
Yeah.
We serve our family by giving them an example to follow.
Yeah.
And with me having two boys and one of them, he's 18 now, and oh my Lord, he is so stubborn.
Yeah.
He's as stubborn as his mama. I said it. I said it.
Okay.
But I believe that I told Adam that one day he will accept Christ. I know it.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I won't. I said, you watch.
Yeah.
I said, if I'm praying for you, you will.
Yeah.
And so I want to encourage everybody out there that struggles with their faith sometimes, even though it looks bleak. There are times, because I know what it feels like when things look bleak. I know what that's like. But there is always hope in Christ. There's always hope in the people you love.
Yeah.
You can look to the people you love to talk through these things.
Yeah.
Don't do this by yourself. You will fail.
Yeah.
I tried it 30,000 times and I failed every time.
Yeah.
I was never successful. So that's what I encourage everybody. And if you don't know Jesus, accept him. Give up what you want, surrender to him, and watch him change your life, because he will.
Nice. You have Matthew 11:28-30 here at the bottom. I think it's a perfect way to kind of close this out.
Okay, let me go find it here. Yeah. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle. Oh my goodness, this is so good. And humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. It ain't too hard for him, man.
Right. But so it's interesting that we talk about a lot of what the symbolism in the Bible is, and the stories that were told at the time were contextual for people. They understood a yoke. A yoke, for those of you who are not old enough to know what a yoke is,
young people,
or have never been on a farm,
yep.
A yoke goes on the steers.
Yep,
so a yoke goes and it holds and controls and helps manage. You can
steer them and all that business.
And you steer them, you have them on their wagons or whatever.
Yep.
So what's important to note here is that it's not just hang out with me. It's take my yoke upon you and learn from me.
Ooh,
that obedience and guidance is huge.
It is.
But he says, look, I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light.
That's right.
But it's not that you're just able to do whatever you want. You have a yoke that you need to learn from.
Yeah.
And that's an image that some people might find offensive and be like, well, what are you saying? They were like God's slave? No. But he's using you. You are his servant. You are his steward, and that yoke is meant to help you understand obedience and what you should be doing as a Christian. So
goodness,
that's the thing, is like the Christian life is not a free-for-all. It's not where you can go and do your music and say, oh, God be praised, and then do a beep, 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 music video.
It don't work.
That's not Christianity. That is your version of Christianity that has been bastardized and is clearly not anything.
I like that word.
Yeah, bastardized.
I like that
Yeah,
word.
it's
That's a good word.
Yeah, and so it's because the definition of a bastard obviously is someone who's born out of wedlock.
Yep.
So it came out of medieval England, where a king might have a affair with a courtesan or something, and then he would have a son or a daughter. They would still be of royal lineage, but they wouldn't be born through the queen. And so they were a bastard because they were not in line. But then some kings would recognize the bastards and put them in the actual line and make them part of the family.
It's not a bad word, y'all.
So when they bastardize Christianity, they're taking proper Christianity, putting it together with something that is not Christianity, and they made a baby with it. It's bastardized. It's
fact.
It's not.
That's
it's
a
not,
good word.
It's not the right. It's not the line of David. It's not the line of Jesus.
That's right.
It's the line of Jesus and whatever the heck else you threw in there for fun. So you have to be careful of what Christ you follow.
Yeah.
Are you following the true Christ, or are you following the Christ of the other guys who are trying to get your money from you, or trying to get you to sell out your family for something or whatever?
Yeah,
like that's Christianity. It is a yoke. It is. You are.
It's hard.
It's hard, but it's good work. It's the whole idea from the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe when they ask about Aslan. Is he safe? No, he's not safe, but he is good, and that is, and because C.S. Lewis obviously wrote,
I love C.S.
Lewis as a Christ allegory, Aslan, that he's not safe, but he's good, and he's what we need. So to that end, if your faith is waning, if you're struggling, know that the fastest way back to Christ is get to a meeting. Get some worship music in your life, good worship music, not the new stuff that's not blasphemous and heretical. Go into the 90s and early 2000s, I think, is probably your safe place. I also just look at your lyrics, because lyrics will tell you everything you need to know.
Facts.
So yeah, like your faith will, and it's not unusual for faith to wane. To kind of close this out, you're going to struggle. It's not going to always be as strong and as powerful as you think it's going to be. Your faith is a lifelong journey of running off the road and then getting back on the road. And so
seems that way, don't it?
It is, and it's that. But the thing is, that's the thing, is getting back on the road is key.
Yeah,
humbling yourself and admitting that, hey, I wasn't on the right road. I need to get back on the road to Christ, on the road to Jesus. And stay on the straight and narrow, and all the things that you need to do. So that's all I have. Anything else you want to add there, Chris?
Just, if you don't know him, man, surrender your life to him. That's all I got.
Yep. Find your way back to Jesus.
If you need prayer, you know what to do.
Yep. There you go. All right. Well, this has been the Mad Monk Podcast. We will catch you on the next episode. My name is Aaron.
My name is Chris.
And that is today's episode.